What's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link. How you doing this week? It's good to see you. You doing alright? Good. Wow, today we've got some Destiny 2 news about some potential upcoming seasonal content for the summer, and potentially the unlock methods for a few more exotic masterworks for some of the weapons that haven't gotten them yet. So let's go ahead and dive on into this. Now, Tuesday we had ourselves a very quick update to Destiny 2. We also got an update to the API, which added a few new things to the Destiny database. In particular, this update revealed the sources of at least 8 exotic catalysts that were previously unknown. And what's even more exciting about this is that 5 of those 8 exotic catalysts are tied to something called Armsweek. Now, this is something we covered a long time ago in a previous API leak. Although I guess I really shouldn't call it a leak, the API is public and open to anyone to go search through. There's plenty of Destiny websites out there. I'll leave a link to a couple of Destiny databases, as well as some of the links to these exotic masterworks down in the description box below, so go check it out. But a month or so back, we got some new additions to the Destiny database that reference something called Armsweek, which right now seems to be an as-of-yet not announced event that's going to be taking place during this summer, where we're going to be getting special versions of strikes. If you look through the Destiny database, you'll find reference to Armsweek strikes, with the description, launches a random Destiny 2 or Curse of Osiris strike requiring a specific weapon loadout. Meaning you may have to use specific weapons or weapon archetypes within these different strikes, which is certainly an interesting concept. It's kind of like the Prestige Nightfall system, where you get locked into a loadout, only this looks like it's going to require that you utilize specific weapons, which I imagine will probably be on a daily rotation, sort of like the heroic strike modifiers currently are. But anyways, the Armsweek event has this description: train with limitations and a real fight will set you free. Your arsenal is restricted for a greater challenge. Use the prescribed loadout, but let no other constraints stop your rampage. So this is really interesting. It's looking like this Armsweek event is going to be tied in with the strike playlist. That's really all we know about it thus far, except for the fact that this Armsweek thing is going to be extending to Nightfalls as well. As a matter of fact, this is going to be the way you unlock 5 of the 8 incoming exotic masterworks. And thankfully, we've got a great list of the requirements for these exotic masterworks and the effects that you'll have once you complete them, thanks to the Destiny the Game subreddit. So let's take a look at these. First up, we've got the Legend of Acrius. Now, the source of this catalyst states this: it can be found in the greatest challenges aboard the Emperor's craft. Now, this of course refers to the prestige version of the Leviathan raid. But the challenge itself is a little bit more well hidden. Right now, it is unknown what you're going to have to do to complete this specific catalyst, but we do know it's going to require 300 of whatever that goal is. You can actually look this up over on light.gg, one of those database websites I was talking about. This is where we went before to learn about all of the exotic catalysts and masterworks before they had originally come out. And looking in here also tells you exactly what will happen when you finish the upgrade for the Acrius. It's going to be getting a reload speed buff and a magazine size buff, which is, in my opinion, pretty impactful. The literal only downside of the current Legend of Acrius right now is how long it takes to reload and the fact that you've only got 2 shots. So with the reload speed buff here, that's already good enough. If this is going to buff your active magazine maybe to 3 or 4, that's going to be an absolutely monumental change for the Legend of Acrius. Not bad at all. Alright, moving on, let's talk about something a little bit less used than the perennial raid shotgun: the Fighting Lion. This exotic grenade launcher's catalyst can be found by engaging in activities during the celebration of deadly craftsmanship. Now, we take this as possibly meaning Armsweek itself, which would hint that the catalyst for the Fighting Lion drops from Armsweek strikes and Nightfall strikes, which is actually kind of an interesting way to incentivize Fighting Lion users to continue playing through strikes. Anyways, here are the upgrade requirements. Defeat 1,000 enemies and complete the Nightfall strike, the Pyramidion, during Armsweek with the Fighting Lion equipped to unlock this upgrade. And doing so grants the Fighting Lion a reload speed buff, which is definitely something helpful for the Lion since it's got a pretty slow reload if you're not activating its special effect. Personally, I would have also liked maybe adding in proximity detonations or larger proximity detonations as part of the exotic masterwork here, but we'll take the reload speed buff. Alright, moving on to the Hardlight. The source for this one is found by engaging in activities during the celebration of deadly craftsmanship. So once again, it looks like this exotic catalyst is going to be found by engaging in Armsweek content. Anyways, for its upgrade requirements, you'll need to complete the Nightfall Strike Savathûn song during Armsweek with Hardlight equipped to unlock this upgrade. It also lists a secondary requirement of 1,000 there. I'm assuming that simply means you'll also need to defeat 1,000 enemies, although this could of course change whenever they finalize any of this stuff within the database. And the update grants it a nice boost to stability. Alright, moving on, next up is the Prospector Exotic Grenade Launcher. The source for this one can also be found by engaging in Armsweek Strike activities, and its upgrade requirements state that you need to defeat 500 enemies and complete the Nightfall Strike, the Arms Dealer, during Armsweek with the Prospector equipped to unlock this upgrade, granting the Prospector an increased overall blast radius. Now what's really interesting here, like I said before, there are Armsweek strikes, so it looks like this is going to be a multi-week event, where you'll likely have to do some grinding to get these catalysts to drop and then utilize these exotic weapons with those catalysts applied in these specific nightfalls during the week that those nightfalls are active. And if these nightfalls are indeed going to be on a weekly rotation, it looks like Armsweek might be up for at least 3 weeks. Unless they're going to do something crazy like have a daily rotation on nightfalls. But anyways, let's move on. Next up is the Rat King Exotic Sidearm. This can be found by engaging in activities during the celebration of deadly craftsmanship, so Armsweek strikes once again. And its upgrade is virtually the same as the previous two. You'll need to defeat 1,000 enemies and complete a nightfall, although the database doesn't state which nightfall you'll need to complete. So I think it's very likely there that the database just isn't complete yet. This is probably an event that's another month or so off. It might tie into something like the Solstice of Heroes or whatever that's going to wind up being. So all of this is subject to change. But the Rat King's upgrade effect is going to grant it increased aim assist and reduced recoil, which mixed in with the other Rat King buffs we already got as part of the exotic sandbox change is going to make this thing go from great to even greater. Alright, next up we've got the Sleeper Simulant. The source for this can be found in the greatest challenges of the Astral Pinnacle, very likely referencing the prestige version of the Spire of Stars raid set to drop in the update next month. Its upgrade requirements are unknown, but it's going to require 500 of whatever the goal is. That might be 500 kills within the raid, 500 kills with the refracting shots, who knows. But once you've completed that challenge, you're basically getting accelerated coils on the Sleeper Simulant, reducing its overall charge time. Personally, I would have enjoyed an additional bump up to the magazine size, tied on with this whole faster charge time thing so that it could at least match the magazine size for the Sleeper Simulant back in Destiny 1, where it had 3 in the magazine rather than 2. But a faster charge time is definitely what the doctor ordered for the Sleeper. After that, we've got the SUROS Regime. The source for this can be found by engaging in activities during the celebration of deadly craftsmanship. So it seems like Armsweek strikes once again, and the upgrade requirement to this, you'll need to defeat 300 Crucible enemies and complete Strange Terrain Nightfall during Armsweek. So with the SUROS Regime, you're actually going to be required to do a little bit of PvP and then take down Nokris in the Armsweek version of the Strange Terrain Nightfall, which is a lot of work, but the reward is well worth it, because once you've upgraded the SUROS, it gets improved recoil and kills will now always grant you health, which is fantastic. The SUROS Regime ability grants you health whenever you get kills, but it's kind of an on-again, off-again sort of perk. It doesn't proc all the time. Guaranteeing that health regeneration is a huge buff. So I definitely can't wait to get my hands on that. And then finally on the list, we've got the Telesto. The source for this catalyst will be found in the greatest challenges of the Planet Devourer, prestige version of the Eater of Worlds, and its upgrade requirements are currently unknown, but again, just like the Sleeper Simulant, it's going to require 500 of whatever that goal is. And again, I would not be surprised if it was 500 activations of maybe Harbinger's Pulse, which is the multi-kills that immediately reload your equipped kinetic and energy weapons from reserves. But anyways, completion of this catalyst will grant you a larger magazine with the Telesto. And there we go, those are the 8 exotic catalysts that have been updated within the Destiny database and reference a new event in Armsweek. There's some pretty exciting stuff here, to be honest. Some of these exotic masterworks sound really good, like the SUROS Regime and the Legend of Acrius, and tying the acquisition of some of these to completion of the Prestige raid, like the Telesto and the Sleeper Simulant. I think that's a fantastic incentive to get players to run that Prestige content when it drops next month. Additionally, I'm really excited to hear what this whole Armsweek thing is going to be. Of course, there's references back to Arms Day with the gunsmith back in D1, but whether or not this is going to have anything to do with the weapon foundries like SUROS, Omelon, Tex Mechanica, we don't know yet, so I'm really excited to learn more from Bungie as we get closer to whatever this event is going to be. Hopefully it's got some pretty good unique rewards aside from these exotic catalysts. But alright Guardians, that is going to be it for this one. Those are the 8 exotics, those are their changes, and that's how you unlock, well, at least most of them. It's important to note that the only exotic this leaves out of the game right now, I think, is the Sturm. So I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what they're going to do to make that thing even better. But there we go, that's it for this one. Those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. How do you feel about Armsweek? What do you think it's going to entail? What about the exotics? Which one of these sounds good to you? Which one do you think could use a little bit more of a buff? Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the stuff we're putting out. But anyways, I'm out for now. Thank you Guardians so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.